People give gifts for themselves. Like, people want that feeling of like, oh yeah, I can have you say you did something for me. I did something for you. Because if I give you a gift and you don't like it, I'm going to feel away. I'm not going to say, oh, whatever. Here, let me give it to the person who like it. I'm going to be like, oh, niggas ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really be about you most of the time.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as black men and as a black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
All right, y'all. This is a special episode, man. We got my brother Star in here.
My dog.
Star. Man,
pleasure, man.
this has been a long time coming. They don't even know.
You've been waiting for this.
I've been waiting. I don't know if listen.
Fact,
I'm gonna tell you, I've definitely been waiting.
I've been looking forward to it.
Listen, man.
Gotta talk, man. Get into it.
Facts. For people that don't know you, tell the people who you are, bro. Before we get into the nitty gritty.
I mean, I'm Star, man, from Queens,
Mm-hmm.
Southside Jamaica, 110 Avenue. I do music. Do a whole bunch of shit. I'm just a warrior, man.
Mm-hmm. Listen, man. So we was talking. We was having conversations before this episode. Always like most of the times I talk with my guests before the episode, and then we was also talking on the way here, bro.
Right.
One of the things that we was talking about before we got to even having this episode was the fact that you got into a car accident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you take me through that, because I feel like that was a real interesting experience for you.
It was weird because, I live in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and I live in like the Galleria area, so it get real busy over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like behind my block, like my building, it shares a block with a whole bunch of department stores, TJ Maxx, all type of shit, Office Depot. So like on the other side of the block, it get real busy. I was arguing. No, I wasn't arguing. I was having like a big conversation on the phone, sitting in the parking lot of CVS. That's like a corner store to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I come out to CVS and I'm just at this intersection that I'm always at. This is regular. I'm just sitting there, ain't nobody on the road. And then all I see is like a fucking pickup truck coming, opposite side of the street. And then coming from the side where I got to turn at, which is basically where my building is at, I see another pickup truck coming. And my mind is so weird that I'm seeing them from so far, but it's something in my brain that told me like, I could see how if they never stopped, they would meet at an exact point. Mm-hmm. But I'm not even paying that much attention because why wouldn't y'all stop?
Mm-hmm.
All I know is they did not stop. Next thing you know, I see a pickup truck flying at my car. I literally told myself, I'm looking at the shit in slow motion. I'm like, yo, I'm about to die. I'm dead. Literally looking at the shit like. And then, I don't know what happened. Like, the car crushed like a can.
Your car?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The pickup truck on its head. Like, it flew at me from the top of it. It flew.
Oh,
like
word.
that. Like, it flew at the car. It didn't, like, ride to the car. It flew. So, I don't know what happened. Airbags come on, everything. I get out the car. Everybody like, no, what are you doing? Don't go. You know, like, where you going? I'm like, get off me, man. I'm out because I got a lot going on. So, I'm like, I'm not staying here.
Yeah, right.
So, I just dipped. But it was crazy. As I'm walking, I'm running to the back of my building. And I'm like, yo, I don't have a scratch on me. I'm talking about not one scratch. Like, nothing hurts to this day. I never went to the doctor about it. Nothing.
God, thank God.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Only God. Like, could not have been nothing else. Nothing else. I literally told myself, like, oh, shit, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going down. Like, this is how it's happening. Like, that fast. Like, oh, I just accepted it. Like, that was crazy to me. That definitely, like, it just gave different context to everything I was experiencing after that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, for real.
You said you got out the car. I remember we was talking. You said she fainted or something like that.
Yeah, because she thought I was dead. Everybody was like, yo, he's no way. I walked out that, like, she looked like, I forgot actually that happened. Somebody came to me. So I'm coming out the car. You know, they was coming to me anyway trying to see what's going on, but now I'm coming out the car. Mm-hmm. So when the lady seen that, she was just like, oh my God, Jesus. Like, literally, like, she fell to, and everybody else trying to hold me up, like, no, relax, where you going? I'm like, get off me. Like, I'm out. I was in shock. But Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, we was talking. We said you've been through a lot, but you said that shook you up probably the most. Why is that?
Because like most stuff I get into is something I'm doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
like kind of self-inflicted.
Yeah, like even if I get it, I'm into it with somebody and then maybe something violent about to happen. It's like I know I brought myself here. You know what I'm saying? But this is like, nigga, I'm around the corner from the crib. I'm doing something harmless. I just came from the gym in my building. I just went to CVS to get something. I'm coming right back to my building. This is where you would never think nothing's about to go wrong at. And it's one thing to say, oh, I was driving. I wasn't even driving. I was at the light. I'm just sitting here. It's like, it was nothing I could have done. So just to know, like, yo, you know, things could happen. Like,
that quickly.
It don't got nothing to do with what you doing either. Like, things could just happen.
Yeah. You said it put different context to everything that happened after that. What? Explain that to me.
Because now, you got to understand, you think about it. I'm on the phone arguing with my baby mom. I'm arguing with my mother or somebody like that. Not even arguing, but just getting into, like, trivial stuff that I feel like is not that real. First thing I'm going to say is, bro, I could have been dead today. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I could have been gone. This conversation would mean nothing. So it's like, understand that it could happen. And I feel like I done went through so much stuff and just escaped death and beat the odds so much that I never really appreciated how much I made it through. It took something to happen that I know I didn't have nothing to do with for real, but it was happening to me to really wake me up like, nah, I got to be more appreciative of the fact that I'm still here because it's like, just like when you're driving, you can know how to drive all you want, but it's not just on you. You got everybody else in the street. Somebody could be driving in front of you right now, ready to crash out, literally, like, I'm done with life. And now you about to answer to that same thing because you're right behind them. It's like, it has nothing to do with you, and it could happen. So it's like, learning that, it's like, nah, I got to be more aware that it just helped me be more appreciative of what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really like, yo, I really could be dead. I don't know how I'm still here after that. So it's like, I really could be gone right now. Life would be different. Everybody be talking different. We you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be that. And it took that to happen for me to really feel like that.
Yeah, you know, I think you had you obviously had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they go through near-death experiences, it does put a different level, a different context to life. I feel like for me, I've had a near-death experience, but not a near-death experience in that sense. Like, it was when I was dealing with depression and suicidal ideations. So for me, around that time, it was like getting through that. Afterwards, I had a different level of appreciation for life because I'm like, yo, bro, like, I really at one point didn't want to be here, and I'm still here. The only reason why I'm here right now is because of God's grace and me really trying to figure out how to deal with my mental health. And so that's when I started realizing, like, yo, bro, like, I have an actual purpose.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I started connecting with purpose instead of just going through life on the subconscious. You feel me? And that purpose was like trying to get us as a community, speak more about our mental health, get us as a community into healing and acknowledging our healing journey.
You're doing a good job, bro.
No, I appreciate that,
for
bro.
Sure.
I appreciate
Definitely
that for real, bro.
Job.
Man, so that's why I want to have you on here too, because I feel like you have a real interesting story that a lot of the audience can connect with. Can you speak about your teenage years and how that was, bro?
Teenage years?
Yeah. You caught your first case at 14.
Yeah, we was always like, we was always living fast. I blame that on lack of guidance and just ambition, you know? Like, from the gutter, like, Southside is like, I make sure I emphasize that Southside is the gutter because when I was really living in it as a young kid, I felt the complete opposite. I used to be like, shit not that bad. Like, I done moved around and been mad places. I'm like, we don't live in the worst neighborhood.
Right.
But I ain't gonna lie, like, growing up and really understanding life, it's like, nah, it just look a little different, but this is one of those neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like somebody might never been to Far Rock. Like, no, Far Rock is really like that. Or like, so I started putting in perspective, like, nah, this shit, that's where I get the whole third world concept. Because it's like, I've been everywhere in Queens and seen these different neighborhoods and how they operate. And it's like, but my neighborhood, they treat us like we from like a distant island, a little annexed island. Like, so I'm like realizing that when we was young, we didn't even have a chance to be young. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was like a lick. Everything was a opportunity. Everything was a competition, a battle. I'm talking about, to me, it don't make no sense. Like, as I'm older now, like, why are we wearing $500 shoes, bro? Knowing
Right.
damn well it's not even like our parents are buying this stuff for us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
It's different if your parents just giving you whatever you want. It's
Right.
not what's going on. So the fact that you living like that, it's like, when you doing it, doesn't really mean nothing. Like, when we grow up and look back, like, what are we doing? So back to what you said, I caught a case at 14. That was regular. Like, most of my friends had already caught cases. Like,
Oh,
you know what I'm
so you
saying?
was like-
I wasn't the unicorn in the situation. Like, that was regular. So even when I was going through it, I wasn't thinking much of it. Obviously, my mother's devastated, but my mother's not even really devastated. I feel like she'd be suppressing that stuff when I go down. Like, you know, she wasn't asking me much questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, Ma, it wasn't me. And it wasn't me at that time. I was involved, but I wasn't literally, like, I was pointed out as somebody that I wasn't. Put it like that. Like, I was around the situation. That's why I stood on it. I mean, I was going to stand on it anyway. I wasn't going to tell, but I'm just saying I ain't had no problem standing on it because I at least know that I was around.
Right.
But who you trying to point me as and say I did what you saying I did, that wasn't even the truth.
Right.
But basically, I'm like, man, I wasn't me. It is what it is. Like. So that set the tone for, like, my journey. But it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I feel like I'm grateful for the adversity that I had to go through at an early age because adversity is going to come one way or another, and that taught me something along from early on. Like, it made me learn a lot of lessons quick.
Like what?
Like, first of all, I had to move just in the jungle. Like, yeah, you could be in your neighborhood, but people know you're in your neighborhood. It's different when you go into juvie. See, I didn't go to juvie instantly. That was my first charge. We had, like, court proceedings, and then I took it to trial, blue trial. And now I just got a while long probation because I never got in trouble before. But then I violated this probation a year or two later. So now I got to go to Rikers Island. When I'm done with Rikers Island, I got to go back to juvie because I violated juvie. I'm going to juvie, but I'm not just going to juvie. I literally went through every single juvenile facility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like, oh, I got to get used to this place. So it taught me how to adapt.
Right.
Because I had to. I went to the island. Like, I never even went to juvie yet. So going to the island was like, whoa. I got to learn how to adapt. I got to make sure I'm sturdy. Like, you get thrown in the fire, basically. So it's like, not saying I wanted to go through that, but I just know that it was better I got it over with from then, because it's not like that was the last time I went to jail. It was just better I got over it from then and learned lessons that I had to learn as far as, like, because, got fathers that's teaching you how to, like, carry yourself certain ways. So what ends up happening is you get in situations where you start realizing who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some stuff just be in you. Like, if you soft, you soft. If you a little rough around the edges, it don't matter what the situation is. But a lot of times you never know who you are until you're in the situation. And you won't know how to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like going through stuff gives you a confidence. So it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't want to go to jail, but I went to jail and I made it out of there. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel different when you're walking down the street. It's like, some niggas don't make it out. Somebody literally never made it out. I made it through that. So that means that I got some sort of strength to give you some different type of confidence. So I look at it like, yeah, I don't look at things like it'd be bad or good no more. I just look at what's good out of the situation and what I don't think is good out of the situation. I just take what I take. So with that, it's like I used to be a victim, like, man, but I had all my spoiled friends. Man, you ain't have to go through this. You don't. But in reality, that's a blessing. You ain't have to go through that. Right. But it was also, I found blessings in what I had to go through. It's just the same thing.
It's perspective.
You know what I'm saying? Like, simple.
Nah, I like that, bro. I like that. You was talking in the car earlier about adversity and feeling like man had to go through adversity. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yo, all I want is adversity. The day that I woke up and realized that my life was not how I wanted it to be because I was trying to be comfortable is when all I wanted was adversity after that. Like, I don't have no problem making things more difficult for myself because what has any great man really gotten done being comfortable? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Being comfortable. Like, what man has ever, what problems get fixed because everybody's happy? Because everybody belly full. Everybody got money. Everybody just living their dreams. What problems get fixed when that's going down? Or do problems come after that? Because now everybody feeling themselves. Everybody kind of doing what they want to do, and nobody want to do what the system entails for all of us to do. It's literally people who like, I'm just saying, we talk about Rosa Parks in the bus. You had to be really uptight. You had to be finished. You had to be sick. You had to be ready to crash out. You had to be ready to say, forget everything. To be somebody in that time, to get on that bus and say, I'm not sitting in the back of the bus. She wasn't happy. Everything wasn't going well. But something like that really changed things for generations to come. Just because she could do it, I could do it. If she could stand up for something, I could stand up for something. It was never being comfortable that led us to, let's say, progression, advancement. Because I know for a fact for example, I make my child comfortable, I know I'm getting in the way of their development to some degree. They have to go through things and learn things. If I just make it all comfortable for you, I'm kind of hurting you to a degree. Now, helping you and making it comfortable is two different things. Of course, I'm going to help you. But we talking about like just making things easier. No, you need adversity. That's what I feel. At least as a man, I feel like that's the man's job for the women. That's why women want us to like do everything for them, because it's kind of is our job. It's our job to make this environment easier for you so you could do what I need you to do. See what I'm saying? I'm supposed to design the environment. You're supposed to make sure the environment is what it needs to be. That's why we fit. But I need the adversity to go out there. Like if I got to hunt, that's adversity. I got to hunt. I'm not. What is life if I got to go outside? Is it hunting if I just go get the food? The food's just there. I'm more of a man by just picking the food up.
That's what we do, though.
You know what I'm saying? I got to go through something to get the food. That's just the formula. Like I feel like the Bible talks about this. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's explaining all of this, or they all explaining all of this in their own way. Like the days are evil. The days are evil. Like life is not easy. So act like you know that, but you know what I'm saying? Keep faith. I feel like that's how I go about it. So adversity, I accept it because it's like I'm really who I am because of all the stuff I went through, not the stuff I didn't go through. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I know about me. Like I know that about me.
I said I'm really who I am because of all the stuff I went through, not the stuff I didn't go through.
For real though. That's why you're gonna realize, like, especially men, you're gonna self-sabotage. If things is going too good, you're gonna shake your whole life up. Because that's the story. That's what we get a rush of. That's why we watch movies and stuff like that.
Do you feel like that's how it should be though? You don't feel like we should be at peace with stuff? Because I feel like I want to get to a certain
I feel like if I'm at peace with the adversity. You know why I feel like you can't be at peace with it? Because you're looking at it like it's something wrong. See, it's like, be constructive about it. See what we was talking about, and I was like, yo, bro, young men don't be having rite of passage. Like before in the tribes and stuff, they would really take the little boy at 13, 14, 15 years old, put him out in the middle of nowhere, find out how to get home. This is what they're doing because they love you. They're not doing this because they don't like you. You can't be up under your mother. We know what happens if you stay up under your mother. You got to become a man at some point. All right, cool. We don't have that these days, right? Because we designing our lifestyle around trying to be comfortable. So guess what? You know what end up being that kid's rite of passage? He end up going to jail. You know why he end up going to jail? He might got parents that gave him everything. He might just be around the wrong people. He might just be wanting more out of life or exploring life so he could do a knucklehead thing and then finds himself getting in trouble, following the crowd or something. But guess what? Your life was comfortable. What are you out searching for things that's going to put you in uncomfortable situations for? It's really just because it's inevitable. One way or another, you're going to go through something. That's how I look at it. Like, it don't matter how you slice it or dice it, you're going to go through something. So you might as well pick the thing. Like, I'd rather tell my son, like, yo, listen, you either going to do this, 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 this. You could pick those things, but you're going to do something. Because if I leave you to do nothing, then you're going to do the wrong thing, and you're still going to end up having to learn the same lessons. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had a father that kicked that to me. Because then I wouldn't have been, like, why kids in gangs? Kids is in gangs because they want brotherhood. They want camaraderie. They want to feel valued, important. They want to feel like somebody could depend on them, and they got somebody that they could depend on. That's all stuff. That's all man stuff. That's stuff that's innate in you. but you don't have the environment. So you go outside and you find somebody else who's on that, and now y'all going to do whatever. And now I got for me to prove to you that I'm locked in with you, like you locked in with me, is I got to go hit something. Because I know if you hit something for me and I hit something for you, then we locked in. That's really how people, I'm telling you, like I come from this. So I'm telling you how people think. Some people don't look at it like that, but that's what's going on. Like, nigga, I can't trust my own mother or father. So it's like, the only way I know you locked in with me is if you're going to go hit something for what we doing. That's how they operate. But guess what? That's just you not having family at home. You're supposed to be like that for your brother, your father, your little sisters. That's what it's supposed to be like. But you just don't got that and you want that. So you're going to go outside and do it. Yo, if you in jail with somebody, if somebody come home from jail, around the time you come home from jail, and then like say you around your friends, so say you was in jail, y'all already was friends, but then like now his man is around, he happened to come home. They used to be in there together. They gonna have a relationship you can never relate with. You probably know him 10 times over, but it'll be a relationship you cannot relate with.
Because they went through the same thing.
You will not be able to tell them nothing about each other. You know why though? Because they shared that adversity together, and they seen who each other was in the moments. You see what I'm saying? And that means the most to a man, I feel like. It don't matter if it was in there or out here, that means the most. Just like going to the military. You can't tell a guy in the military about his son that was on the battlefield with him. You can't. We was getting grenades thrown at us. These is when you learn who you are. This is where you learn who you are and who you with. When you're going through things, not when you're not going through things. That's why you know your real friends what? When you broke. You don't know your real friends when you up, right? You don't know them when you up. You know them when you broke because you're going through something. It's not lit no more. Now you know who your real friends are. It's all the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. I'm at peace with the adversity. I just rather do it constructively. You dig what I'm saying? I don't want just any old thing to happen to me.
That's a fact.
I want to be able to choose my battles. That's how I look at it. And that's how I treat music too. Like,
all right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
You said, so you was talking about family too, bro. You was talking about people not having family. I want to talk about your family, right? So you went through a situation I feel like a lot of us go through, but we don't speak about it. Like mental health, dealing with mental health in your family. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because I feel like this is a conversation that we don't normally have in the Black community, like having family members that have mental health problems or issues, and us having to navigate that.
All right, before I even say anything specific, I would like to say that I feel like if I really could see the numbers on who all has some real mental health shit going on with them, I know I'll be blown away. Because I feel like we all act like it's not going on. Like, I feel like we be around people that you could tell, like, something not right with them. But they just eyed enough.
They just eyed enough to pass, and you know what I'm saying?
Like,
we don't got to say right. something, but we know something.
It's like a little off. Like, nah, I know when to call that person. Cause, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's basically like what I went through in my family, in my situation. So like my mom, she got a lot of stuff going on with her. I'm not going to name everything. But let's just say she definitely has dissociative identity disorder.
Okay. Break that down for people.
I mean, honestly, I'm still getting my...
You still wrapping your head around
it.
but
it's pretty much split personalities.
Okay.
But I feel like when you hear stuff like that, it's like the way things are like depicted on like TV and movies and stuff, it don't look like that in real life.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I tell somebody something like that, they start thinking an expression of what that means. And it's like, nah, like I've lived my whole life not really knowing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, some certain things that went on where I had to question them like, I don't get it. It's not adding up. And now that makes sense that I know that about her. But yeah, I would have never known that. She don't got, her friends don't know that. So it's like, I had to deal with that and, you know, other things. And I just feel like dealing with that, that's also a part of my adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as just my story, like having to roll with stuff like that. And I'm grateful for it because, like I said, I'm going through something that's not average. So obviously I'm being molded in a unique way by getting through it.
Yeah.
Before thinking like, yo, why I gotta be, cause I love my mother. So never did I ever question like, why my mother gotta be like this. It is what it is. I start doing my research. Family don't really, you know, my mother's parents, their parents were slaves. So we could already imagine like, and her parents was on some get to it. Like my grandparents wasn't on some like, let this happen to me. Like my grandma was very bougie. My grandfather really put it down, like really provide, get on some other level when it come to that. So they wasn't victimized, but they had their ways with them, like seeing stuff was going on with my mother and just trying to say it's like the devil or, you know, that type of stuff. So now you just let certain things fester in my mother's life and it turned into something else, and a lot of answers never got answered. Now I'm sitting here building with my mother. However, her final answer she ain't never found. Feel me? She's twice, 3 times my age. She never found these answers.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, but it led to other stuff, you know, like, you know, she tried to commit suicide. She was very close to doing it. It wasn't an average situation. It was very like, she don't got to be here right now type of situation. Had to deal with that.
What was that like for you?
It was like, it was honestly another near-death experience for me.
Really? Why? Take me through that.
Because like I'm numb. I done been through so much stuff, and it's not that I don't feel stuff. It's just that I got my mind made up already. Like I done been through so much stuff and seen the other end of it that I don't let things rattle me. So like, this was the most ultimate rattler, and now I'm faced with like the ultimate thing. And then like, you gotta understand, when I found her, and I'm calling the cops and the ambulance, they in here looking at me thinking I'm trying to kill her. And I called because I couldn't kill her. Because that's how it looked. It looked
Really?
like, yeah. Because it was kind of like, how is she still alive? That's what everybody, I'm asking the same thing. So they looking at the situation like, you must have tried to kill her and then realized you couldn't kill her. So now you're trying to make it seem like she crazy. You dig what I'm saying? That's kind of how they was approaching me without trying to say it.
Yeah, without trying, yeah.
But I understand why. It's because the way I was acting, you would have thought that.
You
would have thought that I didn't care that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you didn't know me.
Numb to it.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm in shock. I'm not panicking. I'm literally like, yo, you need to get her to the hospital. Like, I don't know what we talking about right now, but yeah, listen, she has history of this and that. I've never been through nothing like this with her before, but she does have history of this and that. She's in the back losing it. She's having a whole episode. It's like a movie. I'm literally acting like she's not even doing that. It's like, I'm like, yeah, like, what's it do for fun? She's like, no, don't touch me. I'm not going, this and that. Saying certain stuff, like on some like, to a point where she literally was on some like I can't even die. I can't even do that.
Really?
Like, that's how she's talking. Because she's, you know, that's why I'm passionate about making people have perspective changes. Because it's like, she said things like she didn't want to be a burden to us and things of that nature. And it's just like, first of all, this is how I know you backwards. I love my mother to death. I'm just saying, you're thinking backwards because if there's anything that's a burden on me is you being gone. See what I'm saying? So you're losing your mind by telling me you're trying to check out because you don't want to be a burden to me. As a man, I'm not here for nothing but to make sure people like you are good. I'm not really here for nothing else. That's really my main prerogative. Take care of my family. You know what I'm saying? Take care of my family and, you know, living God's purpose. I feel like that's a part of it, taking care of my family. And so to say that is like, nah, we got to really work hard to get perspective changes out here, like to the point where that's what I've been doing. I feel like my mother different now. Like my mother, I've been in the house with my mom, like really talking to her, like really putting her on, showing her things, making her, you know, because they older, they stuck in their ways for real. They ain't learning things we learned and all that. Like, so, you know, but I use that as it was like a near-death experience to me because she easily, I'm talking about like, I moved her out to Texas. She lives 10, 15 minutes away from me. We're not answering. My sister's like, they talk every day. They like the Golden Girls. I don't really talk to my family like that every day. Like, not every day. I'm not calling you every day. Sister's calling me like, yo, you spoke to mommy? No, what happened? I'm calling her, she's not answering. I'm calling my mother. Mind you, I'm just now finding out I'm about to get a meeting to Rock Nation. I have my Rock Nation meeting. And I'm just hype about that. That's fire. I'm talking like that to my man, and I'm getting this phone call. So I'm like, hold on real quick. Call her 20 times, she didn't answer the phone. So now I'm pissed off because I'm looking at it like there's no excuse for 20 times. I've never seen you do this in my life. You got to literally tell me the phone's in here and you're out there. And why would that be? So I'm pulling up, it's pouring down raining like it's never rained in Houston, Texas, gang. Like it never rained in Houston, Texas, I promise. Like it never rained. I'm driving this long ride and I'm like, something not right. I knock on the door. I heard her, but the door's unlocked though. Never unlocked. Why is your door unlocked? I don't know what's going on. She on the bed. I'm still not realizing what's going on. I get up to her. I'm like, I'm talking about I can see the insides of her body. Come to find out, they like, if you ain't found her, probably another 2 hours would have been quiet. That she was bleeding out from yesterday. The crib looked like the American Horror Story scene. Like she was traveling through the house, bleeding out and stuff like that. It was wild. And I'm not even paying attention to all that at first. I'm just straight to her. I'm not even looking around, seeing all that. I see it's a note. So when I say near-death experience, it's like, yeah, because I've seen a suicide note written to me. See what I'm saying? Like I've seen it. It was right there while she's right here. So it's like, yeah, I got that feeling of like, I could easily not have my mother right now. Same way I could easily not have been here right now. So it's kind of like the same thing. Like I just appreciate shit different. But it still be like, nigga, my mother, I'm trying to stay with her. She like, yo, I got the meeting now. I'm back and forth to the hospital every day. I have the meeting now. She's like, why are you still here? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to New York. Like, first of all, I haven't been to New York in like a year. You think I'm going now? You gonna lose your mind? She's like, if you don't go to that, I'm like, there's no way you think you about to be sitting here giving me orders when you just try to do what you try to do, and you think I'm supposed to just listen to this. She's like, no, seriously. But that was a big lesson for me because it was kind of like, that's kind of like what I was speaking about, like the masculinity thing. Like, we could sit here and talk about the problem all we want. But I'm never gonna, as a man, I'm not gonna feel that fulfilled until I feel me taking affirmative action progressively towards what I'm trying to get done in life. The important things. That's when I'm gonna really feel like something's getting better. I can talk about my problems all I want. So I could sit here with you and talk about what you shouldn't have did that all day. But I need to do something. I need to go outside and fix the situation. Because maybe if I was doing that faster, maybe she would have seen things different. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if our situation was the same, she would have seen things different. Like, I got to think about it like that. So I look at it like, my mother was like the sacrificial lamb to really wake us up. That's how I looked at it. Like, me and my sisters, we all kind of like shaped up different. I had a whole different perspective on even how I looked at people, period. Like how I even gauged characters, everything. Everything was just different. It was like, I just took things that much more serious, you know what I'm saying? Like, period. And held myself to a higher account. Because it's on me to me. To me, it's on me. It's like, you said, I moved you here. You said you love it here. You wouldn't want to live nowhere else. So I'm thinking everything is all good, but then you do this. I'm kind of feeling like it's on me a little bit. And
So you kind of felt guilty?
Yeah, I definitely felt guilty. I mean, I'm her only son, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt guilty to some degree, but I looked at it like, I just got to, whatever it is, I just got to be better so that I can at least try to prevent these things because it's not just on her. So I feel like it takes a village for everything.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, I think it takes a village.
So how did you help her through that, bro? Because I know there's some people that may have dealt with that or are going to deal with it at some point, unfortunately. And so if they're listening to this, what are some pointers, some tips, advice, some of the things that you did that worked, maybe some things you don't want to do in that specific situation?
Number one, take yourself out of the situation. Like, everybody's going to take it personal, especially when it's like, say it's your mother, for example. If you're going to take it personal, you got to take yourself out of the situation and know that in reality, nothing is about you. Like, everything you experience is a reflection of something about you, but when you're dealing with others and their decisions, it's never about you. It's about them. And And so if you don't find that patience, like even when it was going down, you know, I tell my sisters and they're like, really? Like a suicide note? Like, you know, they were really feeling away.
Mm-hmm.
I was too. But it's just like, all right, this is not the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not about you. If anything, she's convinced herself that she's doing us a favor. You know what I'm saying? It's really not about you the way you think it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you gotta be patient. And I know me, I lack patience. I'm a ready to go kind of guy. So it's like it took somebody like my mother that I really cared for, delicate like a flower, for me to sit down and say like, all right, I'm going to listen. I'm going to not feel like you just violated. I'm going to try to understand you. Now I'm taking her to facilities. And we in and out the hospital and there's things going on. Now so it's just more like being patient, just being open and understanding. Like you'll never get it when it comes to somebody else. No matter what they try to explain to you, you're not going to get it. You're not them. And get out your own way when it comes to that, because then you can really help them if you just don't make it about you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the problem. Everybody make decisions based upon like the validation of others. So like the reason why the validation of others matters to people is because we all know that everybody's really only worrying about themselves. So it's like if I'm in front of you, I'm basing myself upon what I think you think about me. So just like the burden thing, how could you tell me you don't want to be a burden so you're trying to check out? Like as if that's not my biggest burden. That's how you know you're not thinking in the right direction. And I feel like we all do that. We all do that to a degree. Like we think, like who really gives gifts to people for them? People give gifts for themselves. Like people want that feeling of like, oh yeah, I can have you say you did something for me. I did something for you. Because if I give you a gift and you don't like it, I'm going to feel away. I'm not going to say, oh, whatever. Here, let me give it to the person who like it. I'm going to be like, oh, niggas ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really be about you most of the time. People stop living like that. That's what this situation had told me. Like, stop living like that. Like, it's not about you, bro. It's not about you. Especially when you're the only person that you feel like can fix it, especially as the man. Like, I'm not looking for my sisters to do nothing spectacular. I got to figure it out. So it's like getting out your own way and just being patient and just being open to understanding, like, yo, you do have something to offer people. Like, you got something to offer somebody. Like, don't deal with nobody thinking you don't got nothing to offer. Because then you're not really going to offer nothing if you're thinking like that. Like, I had to really, like, my mother just told me recently, like, yo, you really changed my life. Because I told her she needs to write her book. My mother's an amazing writer. Amazing. But I don't know, she never want to publish the book, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, why you ain't been writing? And it was just like, she hasn't even been thinking about it. And now she's up every day. And I'm like, yo, Ma, tap in. Like, there's AI and stuff like that. Like, there's things going on. Like, tap in. And then she's up she's like, yo, you don't understand. Like, I wanted to wake up today. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt like that. She said that like a few weeks ago. And I'm like, wow. Meanwhile, this is what I'm saying. Stop thinking about yourself. Because I'm in a situation where now I'm over here with her. And I haven't lived with my mother since I was 17 years old. I don't live with my parents. I always live with my own. So now I'm here back with her because I've been gone for so long, and now I'm visiting Texas and I feel like I left her. So now I'm here with her and I'm kind of feeling like, nah, I'm ready to go. Like, you know, I need my space, I need this and that and the third. But it's like, nah, I needed to be here. Cause I never heard her talk like that a day in her life. She been did this whole thing with the suicide. This wasn't even like, she literally like, I didn't even know she still felt like she didn't want to wake up. See what I'm saying? She like, you said this to me. And like, you changed my life. Like literally, I never felt like this before. I got my mother listening to Myron Golden. Changing her life. She like, I'm like, you be on YouTube.
Shout out to Myron.
You get what I'm saying? Shout out to Myron Golden. But you be on YouTube watching other stuff. I remember all my mother used to do was watch Cops. But see, my mother, like, she cares about psychological stuff, so she like when people trying to get their way out of things. Like, she analyzes things differently. That's where I get it from, kind of. But I'm like, Ma, at the end of the day, though, like, that's your mind. So, like, you watch Cops all day. You feel me? Mind you, you worried about me all day. I could be outside doing the most legal thing ever. You're still worried about me. So what happens when you go to sleep? Cops is playing in the background. You thinking about me when you wake up. I feel like I don't want to be in the middle of this. Like, leave me out of this. Because then when I'm getting locked up for no reason, weirdo traffic stops and now things is going left, I start thinking like, why is this stuff happening to me? Nah, I just don't want that vision on my head because you got that paranoia already. Your mother energy is strong. Guess what? I had that conversation with her. You know what my mother listens to now when she go to sleep? The Alchemist audiobook. I'm like, what? I didn't even... this is just what she doing. I ain't say read The Alchemist. That's an important book in my life. This is natural. I said, oh. So it was meant for me to say, forget me for a second. Just be here because you feel like you got to be here. That's it. And I learned that a lot from going through that with her. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I feel like when I had past relationships or even with my friends that's guys or whatever, that might have went over my head because I'm such a like, I'm just trying to get to the next. Like, what we doing? What's going on? You know, like I'm not, forget the complaining, all that. But nah, I learned all that patience and stuff like that from that situation.
Man, you just dropped a lot of gems written there, bro. I think that's really hard for people though, to disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Because we all see things through from our lens, and we're always putting ourselves in that situation. Like we're always making it about us. It's an ego thing. You feel me? It's hard. It's hard to take the ego out of it.
It's actually how you make sense of the world. Because like if you don't do it from your perspective, then you really don't have much context to try to make sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why I like that whole sense of like take one to know one. That's a real saying. Like take one to know one. Like you can't feel this way about me if you haven't felt this way about yourself because you don't know it. You don't know it. Just like on some like you can't say I don't care about something, but you can't not care about something and say I don't care about it. Like that's how I feel. Like if I tell you I don't care, and I say it in an aggressive manner, I probably care. Because for something that I genuinely don't care about, it's not even on my radar. It's not even something for me to talk about. It's not even something for me to make a concept of. Because even if I don't care about it and you bring it up to me, I'm not going to be on some I don't care. I'm going to just show you in my response that I don't care. Because I don't care. You see what I'm saying? I'm never going to tell you I don't care because you know how much you got to care to say I don't care? You got to care a lot. Oh, I don't like that person. You care an awful lot to be even thinking and talking about this person. So it's like people not being real with themselves as far as like what's really going on with them in their mind. I feel like I learned this from my musical journey. Like I use music to discover myself type shit. Like I use my musical path as far as like my lyricism, the things I talk about and the stories and the timeline. I use it to figure myself out because I realize I don't be into breaking stuff down till it's all over. So like if I'm in a relationship, I used to have this girl I was in a relationship with for like 5 years. And when she sees this, she's gonna know what I'm talking about. She used to be like, yo, why you never make a song about me? And I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know. But it's really like, I couldn't think about songs to make until the situation was over. Because that's just the way my mind is. So like, if I'm in jail, God forbid, I'm never writing raps in jail. I never wrote a rap in jail before. But I could tell you, I made songs like Welcome Home and tell you all about it because now I'm dissecting it. That's just how my mind is. So I think that taught me, and through the music, it taught me how to be objective and watch things from different sides because I'm experiencing it different. I'm looking at it. I'm going back. I'm looking at it. Like,
You feel like it's been a therapeutic process for you?
Yeah, that's why I was saying what I was saying about therapy to you. Like, I would never, like, try to, discredit therapy. Therapy, I know for a fact, is saving people. But I just feel like some people have a wrong idea of how to utilize it.
Okay.
And
break that down.
I just think, so when we talking about, was it CBT?
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, I feel like it's like the common thing we look at. Like, whatever that is like the common idea.
I would say that's probably like 85%.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think that if people just was moving a certain way in life, was bred a certain way, taught certain things, had certain principles, and learned from others a certain way to go about life, there wouldn't be a much need for that type of therapy.
Okay.
For one, you could get that type of therapy from somebody else who just lived longer than you and willing to listen to you if everybody here knows what they're talking about.
That's a big if, though.
That's a big if, but I really feel like most of why nobody knows what they're talking about is because of how we being raised to think. That's the problem. So I feel like therapy is fixing, but it's more pacifying. It's not getting to the root of like how we gonna stop needing therapy. See, if I want to go to therapy, I'm talking about, forget me, I'm talking about all of us. If black men need therapy, right? At what point are we gonna get to not needing it? I think everything a lot of what we seek out is pacifying. Or we use it as pacifiers even though it's probably not meant to be. Because I'm pretty sure you could come out of therapy and never need it again. But how many people, I see people cry over how they can't even switch a therapist. You're already a little too codependent because it's about you. It's not about them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I go to a new therapist right now, I'm challenging myself to see if I could get on the same page with this therapist that I got on the comfortable page last time. I'm not going to look at that therapist and be like, I don't know. I don't think that we could do this.
But that's the thing too, right? Like people don't understand with therapy, it's about you have to develop something called a therapeutic relationship.
Right.
Right? And what that means is you're basically developing, like you are in that journey with your therapist and you guys are basically like partners. Right? So like you come in
going through something.
Exactly. Y'all
Right.
going through it y'all
Right.
going through the journey together. And
Right.
they're there as like a guide. Right? Like, and you're in a forest and you kind of know your way around. But your therapist is really helping to guide you, right? And so,
trying to get you there without holding your hand too much.
Exactly, right? And the thing is that people don't understand is that when you get into therapy with a therapist, you guys have to develop that relationship, and
Right.
it takes vulnerability on both ends, and it's a real fine line that y'all are walking, where you have to be vulnerable and comfortable with talking about certain things, and you also have to trust that person, that therapist, to be able to give you enough feedback and to be leading you in the right direction. So what you and I were talking about too was like, you were talking about how the same thing you just said about pacifying. And I was like, I think a lot of times the issue that happens with people in therapy that leads to them not progressing, right, is the fact that they don't come into therapy with setting goals. You come into therapy and it's just like every day I'm just going in there, I'm just talking.
You come in actually as if you feel like someone is supposed to be in here fixing your problem.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly, right? And that's not really how it goes.
That's
like when I got into therapy, first time I got into therapy is because I was I got cheated on, right? So I get into therapy and we having these conversations. I'm talking to my therapist about stuff, and I'm realizing quickly that one, she's not agreeing with me on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's certain things I'm saying and I can tell she don't agree, but she's just not saying anything. She's letting me say what I need to say. You feel me? And so that in itself was helpful because it helped me to realize like, yo, bro, you're not right about everything, bro.
Right.
Some of your thought process is wrong, and or not necessarily wrong, but maybe flawed, right? And so that helped me in itself. But then also what helped me was us being able to me being able to trust her, but also us being able to like kind of like set goals around like where I wanted to be. You feel me? Like I came in for being cheated on, but in order for me to deal with that, I had to start thinking about the other relationships. You know what I'm saying? Unpacking that stuff, the stuff that I thought I had already done enough self-reflection on. You feel me? So when we was talking, I was like, yo, bro, I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I understand that wholeheartedly. But I was one of those dudes, you feel me? People looked at me like, yo, you good, bro. You straight.
Yeah.
You feel me? I had a job. I'm straight. Everybody was like, yo, bro, you straight. Nobody needs to worry about Kizzle. Like, you good. But meanwhile, I was dealing with depression. I had suicidal ideations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got relationships that I've been through. I can't figure out how to make the relationship work.
Right.
I don't understand what's going on with me. And I still feel self-aware, but there's another level of that self-awareness that I haven't even scratched. I don't even know it exists. Yeah. Right? So being in therapy was like getting me to that point where I can see that and then also be able to actualize the steps that I needed to take in order for me to deal with it. Right? And I feel like a lot of people, if you're not gonna set those goals for where you want to be, it's gonna be hard to progress. Yeah. You feel me? Like why are you even in here? Right. Like what are you even trying to get? What are you even trying to deal with?
The
like
why really matters.
The why matters OD, bro. OD. Like I got in therapy at first and naive as it may be, my thought process was, yo, bro, I want to figure out how to make relationships work. Relationships are a big part of my life. I want to be able to cultivate healthy relationships. And that in itself drove the entire healing journey. You feel me? For me, right? And it led to so many different things and then other goals as a result of that, right? Like, okay, cool. In order for me to make this relationship work too, I need to make my relationship with my mom work. I got to look at my mom differently. You know what I'm saying? I can't just be mad at my mom all the time for how she behaved when we were growing up because now some of that stuff is in me as well. And it impacts the relationships I be in. Right. You feel me? So now I gotta relook at my relationship with my mom. I gotta relook at myself. You feel me? Because I'm not just a victim in that situation as much as I want to be. Right. There's certain things that I may have done that may have led to certain things. You feel me? So it's so
really backtrack.
Exactly. It's so many things, bro. And I just feel like main thing that I'm trying to say is people got to understand, bro, therapy won't work unless you do and unless you set real goals around what you going in there for. You feel me? Like, you got to be able to do that. And
I've seen therapy work wonders.
Yeah, and that's a fact.
I've seen it.
And also, what you and I were talking about too, and I was like, yo, bro, that might be helpful for you, is different modalities.
Of therapy, absolutely.
Yeah, there's one that's like, I'm going to get the name right. I think it's called solution focused something.
Yeah,
but that therapy, exactly, that therapy is way more streamlined. It's like, all right, this is what you coming in here for. This is what we focusing on. We probably not even gonna talk about childhood.
Right.
Like, okay, you here for this.
What's going on?
Let's get you some actionable like steps that you can take. I think that what a black person for you would do it. You feel me? You probably not the type to be in cognitive behavioral. You feel me? Like, cause you at the point right now. It's like, you know what, bro? I talk about this stuff so much.
I know how to assess this.
Exactly.
So you see how you say like, yo, I gotta look at my mother different. I gotta start looking back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would matter so much if you just had someone in your life that made you look at that already, without you feeling like you crashing now. Let me go find therapy, because I know for a fact that we your brothers here. If you start talking like that, I might say like, all right, well, what's up with your mother? Like, how's your relationship with your mom? You know what I'm saying?
I never had those conversations.
And I feel like that's the problem. Is really like that's where therapy come in at, because you're paying someone to care enough to go through this with you, when the culture could just be that others would do that with you. So I'm not saying there's no more need for therapy, but maybe the different levels of therapy become more valuable now. Because that thing you talking about, to me, if you with me in a day, that's regular stuff. We don't got to go to therapy for that. We can talk about all of that. But that's because I studied and I learned, and I have situations around me that have taught me and shown me and made me get more into it. That's just not the culture of us all. But if it was the same way buying Jordans was,
it'll be different.
Then maybe we'd be on another level here when it comes to the therapy in the first place. So my whole thing be like, no more pacifiers. Like, I know for a fact as a man, know what you need to know about yourself, but nothing matters except right now. And right now, nothing I don't feel like is going to satisfy you the way living in your purpose and learning yourself along that journey. To me, that is the therapy. The therapy for real is learning yourself on your journey. But people are taking wrong journeys. Not to say wrong journeys, but they could be taking better ones. And you're going to learn throughout whatever journey you pick. So what's ill to me is like, you figured it out. You was like, yo, I want to make relationships work. You figured out what actually matters here. I want to make relationships work. Now look at you. Because of that. I want to make relationships work. Where does that take me? It might take me to a therapist. It might take me other places. I feel like you've been more of a therapist for people than you've had therapy. So do we all really need therapy that much is what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't need it, but when you think about it, I'm pretty sure you've been more of the therapist. You've been more acting like a therapist in your life, on your path. If you measured that up versus how much you actually just went to therapy, it'd probably be a little smaller here, because that's just a situation with you and them. You touching people. This is therapy. You got people watching. This is therapy. Like you said, I dropped gems. Somebody's going to be like, damn, I ain't look at it like that. That's one thing less that they got to talk about in therapy now if they open to exploring themselves now, because we making it. We making them aware. So if we start practicing that more, then therapy is not going to be that necessary, maybe on different levels with the different modes, because it's parts of the mind we don't even know about. But I'm talking about that regular, I'm not, like you said, the behavior. How do you feel about that? I know how to ask myself how I feel about something. I don't need you to ask me, but some people do. That's what I'm saying, because the culture is kind of like, we don't know what to think about ourselves. And I'm not one of those guys. I know what to think about myself. Like, I know when I'm doing wrong. I know when I'm doing right. I know when, you know what I'm saying? I know how I feel about things. But I had to get to that level. But I wasn't going to therapy. That's what I'm saying. Life taught me this. I don't have a therapist. Last time I had therapy, I caught that case, and they mandated me therapy. And guess what? I wasn't going. You know what type of relationship I had with that therapist? Every day I was mad cool. But every day she was just like...
She black?
Yeah, she was from the islands. I forget where exactly. And she was just like, yo, you were just so different. Like, she used to say that, like, I don't know, what you did today? Like, she's going to talk regular. And I'm telling her about stuff, and we having a type of conversation, but now my mother got to step in. And she's like, are you going to tell your mother that you sell drugs? We're having that kind of conversation. So it's like, it was therapeutic in a way where she was making me see certain things as a child with my relationship with my family. But as far as me just figuring things out for myself, I never really had that type of therapy, and I made it here. And I went through a lot of stuff that I didn't have to go through. So I'd rather see somebody beside me or younger than me really just focus up and know without having to go through the nonsense. Like, you don't gotta go shoot people, and you don't gotta steal from people, and you don't gotta do all this and be toxic or whatever you think you gotta do to learn something. Feel me? About yourself, like, because I think that's what people do. I seen my men go, yo, Shorty told me go to a therapist, but if I fix myself, I'm gonna lose my edge. And what's funny is, honestly speaking, I knew that was wrong, but I also understood what they were saying. Because I genuinely feel like the problem is, like I said, motherfuckers going to therapy to try to change. My philosophy is that you're not necessarily supposed, you are who you are. You're not necessarily supposed to change who you are. You're supposed to change how you are. Meaning, like, you got to integrate this. For everything you do wrong, you could have done that, took that same energy and done something very right with the same talents, with the same approach, with the same energy behind it, and the same passion. So it's like, for example, I could use a small example. If you could be online just spewing hate online all day, but very articulate about it. People listening to you. You could
There's
be
a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, but you could be having a whole publication for something positive and helping people with that same energy. See what I'm saying? Some people would be like, oh, you too worried about everything. You too worried about what everybody else got going on. Somebody might say that to them, or like, yo, get a life. Or, but you could really build a whole positive life off of that same thing if you were just.
So that's what you mean by.
So I think you should integrate yourself.
Right.
I don't think you should run from yourself. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you should run from yourself. I think you should try to like find who you are, how you are the right way. That's what I think you should do. And I feel like people use therapy as an escape, just like everything. That's like a drug to me. For some people, I know some people really using therapy and it's working. But I know people in real life is what I'm saying. It's like they'll it's like buying shoes. It's like retail therapy. Like, I'm gonna feel better if I go buy some shoes. I'm gonna feel better if I pay this person and listen to me talk. Like, yeah, I'm gonna feel better if I go to church. That to me, I'm watching people use therapy like that, and that's what I'm saying is like,
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying when I say about therapy. Like,
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I have some reservations about fixing myself and losing myself.
like what? Talk to me.
Let me. So we got a few minutes, so I'll explain.
Now we could.
Yeah, we could chop it up.
Yeah.
I'll just say my piece for the pod, and then we'll definitely chop it up after this. I think we got to understand that there's aspects of ourselves that we need to lose. There's certain aspects of ourselves that we do need to lose. You feel me? Like, not everything about yourself in this moment do you need to keep in order for you to get to where you need to go. You feel me?
Give me an example.
There's certain habits that we have. There's certain bad habits that we have. Like, you really need to get rid of that habit. You feel me? So let me give you an example. People that are hypersexual have a sexual addiction or something like that, right? And they use sex as a coping mechanism for whatever it is that they may be going through, right? Like, that's a habit that you really need to get rid of. You feel me? Like, you actually have to deal with that. If we're talking about addiction is defined by something that's literally affecting your livelihood. Right. You feel me? So if you're gonna say that you don't want to lose that by going into therapy, I'm gonna completely disagree with you. Like, that's something that you actually need to work on.
All right, let me speak to what I meant though.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like the things that we deem as going wrong often are the gateways to us figuring ourselves out. So when you say something like the hypersexuality shit, going down that rabbit hole might be literally what your journey is about. You might be literally learning yourself through. All right, for example, like the relationships thing you said, you went down your rabbit hole. You couldn't do the relationship, so somebody tell you need to fix that. Yeah, you need to fix it, but you need to go on the journey about what that is instead of running from it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, okay.
So like the hypersexuality is like, why am I like this? You know what I'm saying? Where did I get this from? What do I be doing? What am I paying attention to? Once you start going, and then guess what? Now, because you ain't run from it, you embraced who you were and then fixed it like constructively. Now you helping other people do that, right? Okay. That's kind of what I mean when I say integrate who you are into what your focus. Don't say like, oh, well, I always be doing this and people don't like that and I don't think it's going to work. So let me just act like I don't do that no more.
Oh, you're saying don't ignore the issue.
Yeah, don't ignore the issue because that's what people are doing.
Confront it.
They ignore all the issues trying to be better. It's like, nah, be who you are, but be aware and be better. See what I'm saying? Like, be who you are. Like, yeah, I'm hypersexual. I am. I'm not going to be like this all my life.
Okay.
If that's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people running. I'm not running from nothing. Yeah, I'm really like that. I really was outside. Yeah, I did this. I did that. I used to run from it though. I used to be in other situations trying to act like I was somebody I wasn't. Like, no, that is who I am. I'm just better now.
Man, Star, this has been a dope
Yeah,
conversation,
I'm happy you let me come up here, man.
Nah, I'm happy,
speak
bro.
how I feel.
Bro, listen, first of all,
shit.
before we end, because I wanted to say this in the start, and I forgot. People don't understand, bro. One of the main reasons why I want to have you up here, bro, is because this is a very important episode for me. I was telling you and Mel about it. Before we even got to the place that we are with the platform, before we had any buzz, before we had any motion, before I even knew how to turn it into a business, before I even knew it was going to be a business, before I knew anything, right? I remember you and I, when we met basically through Clubhouse.
Right.
You feel me? You was in the Clubhouse. People don't even know we had a Clubhouse. That's how long ago it was.
Right.
You feel me? And I remember you followed the Instagram page. I was shocked at that. I was like, yo, this dude followed the Instagram page? I'm like, damn. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, oh, we got motion. We moving. You feel me? I was like, oh, we moving now. I was like, it's lit. Not only did he follow, but
I seen value though. Like, I seen
exactly. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then he shared something and people followed from your platform as well.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, it's like, I never forget that. And I always want to do what I can to honor that, because you ain't have to do that. You feel me? And like, I really appreciated that, bro. And now look where we at.
Yeah,
feel me? We in a position where I can give you, feel me?
Proud of you,
where I can give you value back, right? So
sure.
Listen, man.
Let me tell my story.
Yeah, man.
People don't get to see me like that. I get to talk, and I don't got to talk about music all day because I kind of get tired of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate this.
So let's wrap up, man. Tell people where they can find you, what you got going on, all that.
Yo, Darkest Before Dawn, that's my daughter name. Darkest Before Dawn now, right now. You got to come buy it from me, man. You know, Stargiela.com, Instagram, Stargiela, Twitter, Stargiela110. Yeah, I get real direct, so like just come holler at me. Everything else is like, I'm not really sending you nowhere else. You're gonna have to come watch me on places like here, my brother platform. If it ain't ours, we ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on it like that. And yeah, man, come to Queens.
Man, Star, beautiful episode. Thank you so
brother,
much, bro.
Thank you.
My boy.
Sure.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Express Yourself Black Man podcast. We really hope you gained some valuable insight on things you could do differently with your healing journey and with the black man in your life. If you found value in this episode, please leave us a review on whatever platform you listen or watch the podcast on. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected black community, starting with black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand our platform even further. And speaking of expansion, we're in the middle of that process right now with the Black Man Safe Haven. We're expanding the Safe Haven platform to add more benefits so we can continue to support the demand we've received from this audience. During this time, we've paused enrollment to Safe Haven, but we invite you to sign up for the wait list. Safe Haven is our holistic healing platform where we take the stress out of the healing journey for black men. In Safe Haven, we provide you or the black man you know with access to a black mental health professional so you can finally heal from the things you find it difficult to talk about, and you will receive support from over 200 black men that are all on their healing journey so you don't have to heal alone anymore. You'll also get access to weekly meditations led by wellness experts, support group sessions led by black therapists, a library of over 200 articles geared towards black men's healing, master classes, and more. You can join the Safe Haven waitlist right now by going to www.expressyourselfblackman.com/safe-haven-waitlist or by clicking the link in the description of this podcast episode. Don't wait. Do not wait. We've had hundreds of signups for Safe Haven already, and we'll be opening enrollment soon. Due to capacity, we may not be able to service everyone. So don't hesitate to sign up now to secure your spot or the spot of a black man you know as soon as enrollment opens. Thank you again for listening to the Express Yourself Black Man podcast. We'll be back soon with more dope episodes. And until then, take care of yourself first, then the people around you. Love y'all.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. Know you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.